Hey, it's Bige and Nichole, and we are back on another episode of Your LexPD. We are here at the West Road Call Gym, and we are going to be talking about wellness as a whole.
And you know, with the first of the year, everybody's making resolutions. We're looking at physical health, wellness, right? Mental health and wellness, emotional, right?
Yes.
So what is the police department doing, and why is that important for not only us, but why is it important for the community and how we serve the community to make sure that our wellness is in place, right?
Absolutely. So we will be talking with our wellness officer, Officer Rachel Kennedy, more about that and the programs that they offer. Hi, and we're back with Officer Rachel Kennedy, who is our wellness officer here at the Lexington Police Department. Welcome, Rachel.
Good morning, Nicole.
How are you today?
Doing great, thank you.
All right, so this episode, we are going to be talking about fitness and wellness. So, Officer Kennedy, can you tell us what the department offers as far as wellness for its staff and officers?
Of course. So our wellness program spans a lot of different areas. Most people tend to think of physical fitness, and we certainly offer that. We have classes 3 days a week here in the gym called functional fitness classes. They're tailored for our officers and law enforcement professionals, but we also have other offerings to do with wellness. So we offer growth sessions once a month, for example, and community partnerships is a big part of that. We bring in community partners from all areas, from neurologists to mental health professionals, chiropractors, massage therapists, even financial planners, and they give free educational seminars to our officers, usually with some resources to follow. So our wellness program, you know, a lot of people tend to think about the physical fitness aspect, the workouts, and that's a big part of it, and that can be a catalyst for a lot of people to seek overall wellness, but it's much more than that.
So Lexington Police Department is always on the forefront, and we're always kind of thinking outside the box and on the cutting edge. Very few agencies probably offer the things that we offer here in Lexington. Is that true?
Yes,
when we look around the country?
I'd agree with that. We're always trying to stay kind of ahead of the curve, if you will, when it comes to taking care of our people and really investing in their wellness. It's important to us that we're serving our officers and our civilian support personnel as well, so that they can go out and do the very best job for Lexington.
Well, I think one of the things probably the public wants to know is, why is this important as far as our jobs and what we do, and why is it important to be, from the physical component of it, why is it important to do this job?
Well, you know, a lot of times with our functional fitness portion of the wellness program that we have here, we refer to our officers as tactical athletes. That's a term that we use, and I think it's appropriate. You know, when you're, especially as a patrol officer, but in other capacities as well, our job can be very sedentary. You can be sitting in your car, you know, Nicole, working patrol for, you know, 8-10 hours, sometimes longer. Then at the drop of a dime, we are called to have athletic performance. You know, we're called to sprint or run or jump. And it's really important that we train and prepare our officers' bodies for that, not only so they can perform at their best, but also so that we can try to prevent injuries and downtime, and make sure that they have quality of life throughout their whole entire career.
All right, speaking of tactical athletes and athletes in general, we actually have one here today, Nichole, right? Nichole was quite the runner in college. And as a matter of fact, we have some video from the helicopter, FLIR video, of you in action running.
Yeah.
So we need to take a look at that.
So, you know, this video is such a good example of what I mentioned earlier about having, you know, you go from a sedentary position, you're checking the calls that are coming in, you're writing a report, and then at the drop of a hat, there she goes. She takes off at Mach speed, as you can see with this footage. And, you know, she's out there doing this, performing at a high level to protect the community, to serve the community. And that's our goal with the functional fitness program. As part of our wellness program, is to have more of our officers have this capability.
Now, we know that usually, when you start your career as a police officer, you start in the academy, you're definitely going to work out then. How can they kind of transition once they graduate and get on the street? How can they transition to trying to keep up with that, I guess, regimen throughout their career?
Well, of course, we have our gym facility here. It's, for all personnel, and it's 24/7 access. So let's say somebody graduates the police academy, they're in excellent shape, they're wanting to maintain that. This is a free facility they can come to and take those skills that they learned during the academy and continue on. Third shift, for example, they're
Yes.
working 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. And so a lot of gym facilities don't have access at those times, or the ones that do may not have the kind of equipment that our folks need. So they can come into the gym at any time that works with their schedule, first, second, or third shift, and continue on to pursue their fitness. Additionally, we have a lot of folks who are on different shifts that come to our functional fitness classes because we offer multiple times. We've got an 8 a.m. class, we've got 11, we have a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock, a 4 o'clock. And we try to offer, as many times as possible to accommodate everyone so that we have the best participation.
Now, you mentioned all personnel. So this facility and the programs that you offer here at the Lexington Police Department are not just for officers, is that correct?
That's true, yes.
Okay, so our civilian personnel, all these programs are available for them as well, correct?
Yeah, and I love that we do that because we rely so heavily on our civilian support
Absolutely.
staff to get done what we need to get done. And having them come in and be part of our culture of wellness and fitness, it just supports our officers. Our officers lean heavily on them, and then during the workouts, sometimes it goes the other way as well. And I think it just supports that community feel that we're trying to build, the positivity that we try to bring to the program, and making sure that everybody feels included and is taking care of themselves.
Well, being in this facility brings back memories for me because when I went through the academy, this was our facility. So we had our morning inspections in here. We spent a lot of time with physical fitness. And as you mentioned earlier, when you graduate the academy, I think you mentioned, Nichole,
Yeah.
a lot of times that drops off.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in a completely different routine. And I think our organization, our agency, providing that from hire to retire and maybe even beyond, right? Even the retirees can come to some of these things, is very beneficial for longevity, quality of life, because this career can be tough, right?
It can. And it's hard on the body. It can be hard on your mental health as well. And what we've seen, you mentioned retirees. We have several retirees who come train with us as well. And what we've seen is that oftentimes the physical fitness component of our wellness program is a catalyst for people to take care of their mental health. They start taking care of their physical body, they notice how much better they feel, and then I think the thought process kind of begins of, okay, if just addressing my physical health is getting me, this kind of improvement in how I feel, what if I use some of the resources they have for mental health? What if I really look at wellness as a whole and not just, in the gym lifting some weights? So I love that about it as well.
And the mind and the body is connected, right? So,
Absolutely.
Great segue. Now we're going to go over to the police academy, and we're going to talk to Lieutenant Donnell Gordon about the mental health and the emotional health component of our wellness program.
Hey, and we are back here at the Lexington Police Department Training Academy, and we are here with the training section Lieutenant Donnell Gordon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Nice seeing you guys today.
All right, we're going to get into wellness in different areas from what we've already talked about, the physical wellness. But before we get started, what is your role here at the Training Academy?
So my role right now, I'm the supervisor over 3 sergeants that's over here in training. And with that, I am over the wellness portion of it, and we work as a team. So the sergeant and the Officer Rachel Kennedy, they work to come up with programs. They send those programs to me. I look at them, I vet them, then filter them and send them back for corrections or any other thoughts that may come to mind. And then after they've corrected those some of the things that were brought to their attention, they will send that back to me, and then I'll send it on up to my commander, who will give the final approval. So more or less, I'm the filter that kind of helps make sure that everything is running smoothly before the final product is produced, shown to our commander.
All right, so we're talking about wellness, and we've talked a lot about physical wellness, but wellness, as far as concerning the officer, is an overall package.
It is.
There's a lot of different components to it. So we want to talk a little bit about mental wellness and emotional wellness and what we're doing from the police department standpoint to take care of those officers, as we mentioned earlier, from hire to retire.
Yes, absolutely. Hire to retire is one of the main issues, one of the main things that we saw a long time ago that our department really need to do better. We listened to our retirees, and kind of was mentioned that, hey, once we're gone, we're kind of just lost in the shuffle. But we also realized that as a recruit coming in, we need to look at their well-being too. So, and in between, we also looked at that not only, the families are a part of this too, and our civilian employees are a part of this whole program too. So to be able to provide the best service to our community, we have to have health and wellness throughout the entire division, so that way our community sees that we're putting the effort toward our police family to make sure that we put the best police officers and civilian employees out there for our community.
So with me being in patrol, and other officers that are in patrol, or just we see things, public safety see things that the average person doesn't see on an everyday basis. So what does the police department or the training academy have set in place to help officers with some of the things that we may see?
Yeah. So I even go back to when I first started, which was about 18 years ago. Back when you just went to calls, and you were expected to forget the call once you're done with, as far as the things that you saw. So you're expected to kind of move on to the next call, but sometimes mentally you never really dealt with that call. And those calls stick with you your entire career. I mean, there's calls that I've been on that I can tell you the details of those calls as if I was on the calls right now. So, and I can provide you with the smells, the things that I saw, every single thing about those calls. I can tell you, if it's like it was happening yesterday or it just happened. So with that, we weren't, before you were it was the old way that you just took the call and you went on. You didn't talk about it, you moved on, and you just dealt with it. And you dealt with it the best way that you could have, which a lot of times for us it ends up being alcohol, or something to that effect. So for me, fitness was always the key thing for me. So I always try to work out to get some of that stress, to relieve myself from some of those incidents or critical calls that I've been on. But now that police is moving another direction these days. They're moving to that behavioral health, to the mental capacity to be able to talk to our officers, to be able to express ourselves about how these calls are making you feel. One thing that our department started, and that's been years ago, is the POST team, which is a police officer support team. Now that support team is that when we are on a critical call, and we've trained our officers that when we're on those critical calls and you're starting to see that it's affecting your officers, supervisors are also trained to see that this call is really one of those calls that maybe we need to call our POST team, which is that support team, out to discuss this critical call. So what would they do? We have some chaplains that are throughout the city that are volunteer that we can call to the scene to help out with the family that's dealing with the issues. We also have, they're there for the officers, that they can come pull the officers to the side, have that conversation, just to make sure, hey, is everything okay? How are you doing? That's huge, because we don't, as a police officer, I was always taught back in the past, you don't discuss those things, you just move on. So with that POST team, after the call is completed, the supervisor will call a location to where they will meet. A lot of times we'll meet at headquarters, and everyone that was on that call has been requested to meet at the headquarters meeting spot, and the POST team will be there. And individually, we'll go around the table and just talk about how that call affected us or impacted us on while we're on scene, or how's it affected us now. Now after that, our department has actually reached out. We do have a licensed professional, behavior professional that you can go meet with on your own. The department doesn't have to know about it. It's something that if later on in the week you're starting to realize, man, that call really affected me. I mean, it's really, I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm doing this, and you see that you see a behavior change, or even sometimes our best, our best friends on this department are the ones that will come to you and say, "Hey, something not right. You need to talk to somebody." And and it's great that we do have people on our department that's willing to do that. And so, you can have that opportunity to go meet with our licensed professional to be able to sit down and counsel you on some of those calls. And that's a discussion that you all will have, that they have in private, and the department, that's something that makes the officer feel like they can actually have somebody to talk to without feeling like the department's going to come and start questioning them and start really getting on them. That's not only open for the officer, but that's also open for the officer's family. So if the spouse is starting to see stuff and wants to go and have a conversation, well, that spouse can do that. And they can go down and say, hey, and that spouse can say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what's happening at the house. So that's something that's huge that I'm glad that our department really took up at this time.
Well, I think, again, we're on the cutting edge. We're seeing some changes, I think, in law enforcement, but Lexington is certainly steps ahead when it comes to that type of thing. And years ago, just like you said, it was almost a stigma that went with it, as far as we as officers were expected to see the worst of the worst and move on to the worst of the worst again without ever discussing it.
Correct.
So I think we're certainly providing a great service to our officers, which makes this just such a great place to work.
It's an unbelievable place that even for our department to even be thinking that a lot of things that we do, especially when we get called by other departments, or I had a position in the chief's office where I was a public information officer, and some of the things that we were being questioned on, like, are you doing this? We've been doing them for years. Right. I mean, we're like way ahead of a lot of the recommendations that were coming to us. So it's like, that's one thing that I really appreciate about our department, is that we don't hold ourselves back. When we feel like that we need to at least look at something and maybe try to head a different direction to make sure that all employees, from officers to civilians and family, are taken care of, they're willing to just say, let's do it. Let's give it a go. Let's see how this is going to work for our department. So it's amazing that our department is willing to take that chances. And even if it comes to financial situations to where maybe it's not in the budget to be able to do it, they try to work to make sure that we're able to do it. So that's something that I really appreciate our department, that we're willing to take those steps to take care of the employees.
Right. So when we look at, we've talked about hire to retire, and you've talked about even providing some things for people after retirement, because we don't want to forget about them, right?
Correct. No.
But there's a lot of people out there that are probably thinking of Lexington as a career.
Yes.
Right? And we've talked about a lot of reasons that this is a great place to work. It truly is. We're taking care of people before they even start, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And what's one of the, I think there's a prep course or something, is that
right?
We
do. We have a prep course, which I wish that they had that when I came on, because back when I came on, I think I was using an encyclopedia to try to figure out what this department was all about. So, it's great because I have the opportunity, and this is something that I've always done, even when I wasn't a lieutenant over here, but back when I was an officer, I always was asked to sit on the OR boards. And you can see the difference. I know when somebody's been to our prep course, because in that prep course, you're learning the history of our department. They not only prep you on our department, but they prep you on what you should wear. Hey, come in a suit and tie. They prep you on these things. What you should expect with our physical test. This is what you're going to see. This is what you should prepare yourself for. This is how you train for the physical test. Because some people will struggle with that a little bit, and mostly sometimes it's just a mind game.
Right.
So to have our wellness coordinator in there to be able to tell them, hey, this is what I would do if I was in your shoes. And this is how you can start to build yourself up for the physical. So our prep course, like I said, I sit on a lot of our hirees that are here now, and you can tell the ones that when I'm sitting there and and we're counting the points and stuff for the or boards, you can tell the ones that's been to our prep course because they're saying things about our history. They know who the chief is. That's the type of things that our prep course does for our new applicants that they're putting in for the job.
Well, this is a great place to work, and we are hiring
We are.
right now.
Absolutely.
Right? And we
Absolutely.
encourage people that may have an interest to
Apply.
apply, right? And what this all comes down to, and when we talk about wellness overall, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, it all comes down to the fact that we as a police department, Lexington Police Department, want to provide the absolute best service, which is what is deserved by the citizens of Lexington, and we want to make sure that we provide that. And all of this is a component of that.
Absolutely. I mean, and two other things that I didn't even mention that we actually, we provide. It's not a program that is a part of the our wellness right now, but we're still kind of moving toward that area. We have peer support. So, if we see somebody who is having that alcohol problem and struggling with that part of it, well, we have an officer that will help them and get them the assistance they need. We have outside community partners with business that will take those officers in and then get them the help they need to handle their maybe alcohol abuse. So that's another aspect of what our department provides, and the department is very supportive of that. Like, they will go above and beyond to make sure that officer is taken care of. Even make sure that if the house, we need to go over cut grass, so we'll make sure that those things are planned out. If somebody needs a ride, we'll go make sure the kids are picked up to go to school. So our department kind of branches off and we'll do things on the side. Financially, we have an officer that will help you out with your finances. We have a lieutenant, I call him the Dave Ramsey of our department. He can help you out, get you on the right track. That's another thing that we provide to our recruits about finances in the recruiting classes, that they talk about. Hey, you may be getting some money, or you may get this. Well, this is what you need to do, because our job's it's unusual a little bit. It's a little bit different than other jobs out there. But I mean, if you're thinking about, if you want to talk about a place that cares about the employees, this is it. I mean, if you even are thinking about being a police officer, or even thinking about community service, I mean, give us a shot. I mean, this is a top-notch place. I enjoy coming to work every single day. And when I first started, I said to myself, why didn't I do this 4 or 5 years ago? Like, what was I waiting for? But I absolutely love it. It's exciting. It changes every day. I get to sometimes guard famous people when I work off-duty assignments. I get to see the background scenes at some of our big-time games around here. So, it's kind of cool being in the know. And so I would say that if you are even slightly thinking about it, do a ride-along. Just come out. That's one thing that we offer. Do a ride-along, ride with somebody, see what it's like, and then, if you decide that you want to do it, which more than likely you will, then come on out and join us. Be a part of this family.
All right, we want to thank Lieutenant Gordon, and we also want to thank Officer Kennedy for joining us today and taking a look at all the wellness programs that we have here at the Lexington Police Department and all that it encompasses, and how the police department really cares about our officers, and again, to make sure that we provide the best service to the community of Lexington.
Yes, and Lieutenant Gordon had mentioned a ride-along. So with me still being on patrol, I think you should do a ride-along with me.
I'm ready. I'm excited. It's been years since I've actually ridden a beat, so.
So that'll be great. We'll do roll call. We'll hit the ground running. We'll make some traffic stops, get out with people. It'll be a fun time.
All right, so we'll get to see patrol. Next month's episode, we're going to be talking about patrol, doing a ride-along, which is the foundation of the police department, right? Everything starts with patrol. The officers are answering the calls day and night, right?
We start all the reports before they go up to the detectives or the different bureaus. So yeah.
All right, I'm excited. Let's do it. All right, so make sure you join us next month on Your LexPD.